The Illusion of Progress, Why Black Women's Business Growth Doesn't Equal Economic Freedom. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I recently had the privilege of interviewing Tequita Morgan, a revolutionary force in the entrepreneurial ecosystem whose groundbreaking research has shattered comfortable myths about success and progress in America. Takeda isn't just a researcher or advocate. She's a visionary truth teller whose work has fundamentally altered how we understand the intersection of race, gender, and economic opportunity. Her fearless commitment to looking beyond headlines and hashtags has illuminated shadows that many would prefer to ignore, creating a roadmap for authentic change that honors both struggle and possibility. We live in a world obsessed with growth metrics, more sales, more customers, more businesses, more followers, more. And on the surface, there's an inspiring narrative unfolding about Black women entrepreneurs in America. Headlines celebrate them as the fastest growing group of business owners in the country. Social media feeds overflow with inspirational stories of their resilience and determination. Politicians point to these statistics as evidence of progress, of barriers falling, of dreams becoming reality. But Takeda Morgan's research reveals a profound and troubling disconnect that shatters this entire narrative. While Black women are indeed starting businesses at unprecedented rates, only 15% of these ventures are actually profitable. Let that sink in for a moment. Only 15%. This statistic completely transforms how we should understand the success story we've been telling ourselves. Growth without profitability isn't success, is the illusion of progress. This disconnect represents one of the most significant blind spots in how we measure economic advancement in America. We celebrate the quantity of businesses without examining their quality or sustainability. We applaud entrepreneurship without ensuring entrepreneurs have what they need to thrive, not just survive. We mistake presence for power, visibility for viability. As Takeda emphasized during our conversation, this isn't about questioning the ambition, talent, or work ethic of Black women founders. It's about confronting the persistent structural barriers that prevent their businesses from achieving financial sustainability. It is about acknowledging that starting a business in a system designed for your exclusion is an act of resistance. But resistance alone doesn't pay the bills. The first key insight Takeda shared is that we must stop conflating growth with profitability. The rapid increase in Black women owned businesses is indeed inspiring and worth celebrating. But we cannot allow this celebration to mask the reality that very few of these businesses generate sustainable profits for their founders. We cannot mistake motion for progress. Consider the story of Amira Rasul, founder of the Folklore, a commerce platform that empowers primarily Black owned small brands by helping them create digital storefronts and reach global customers. Amira's journey embodies both the tremendous potential and the significant challenges facing Black women entrepreneurs today. When Amira started, she had just $30,000 in initial capital, a fraction of what comparable startups typically secure. She faced persistent skepticism about her vision, particularly as a young Black woman entrepreneur attempting to break into tech driven retail spaces dominated by established players. The barriers weren't just high, they were systemic, invisible to those who never have to face them, yet painfully tangible to Amira every single day. Yet through extraordinary determination, Amira leveraged her niche expertise connecting African based fashion brands with international buyers. She built strong networks through visibility, eventually securing over $6 million in funding since 2018 and earning recognition on Forbes 30 Under 30 list. Today, the folklore supports over 700 brands globally and has become a leading resource for African fashion exportation. Amira's success is remarkable, but it's also exceptional. And that's precisely the problem. For every Amira Rasul, countless other talented Black women entrepreneurs struggle to access the resources, networks, and capital needed to transform their businesses from surviving to thriving. This brings us to Tequita's second key insight. Systemic barriers persist, and they're not accidental, they're architectural. According to statistics compiled by SciTech Today using Zippia data, nearly one-third of all Black entrepreneurs are women. Yet only a small fraction report financial sustainability from their ventures. Black female business owners face systemic issues, including severely limited access to venture capital and funding resources compared to their white counterparts. They're also disproportionately concentrated in lower revenue industries, often pushed there by both subtle and overt forms of exclusion from more lucrative sectors. This isn't just an American phenomenon. A UNDP study focusing on Latin America found that while almost half of all entrepreneurial activity comes from women, including many Afro Latina founders, they remain underrepresented among those accessing loans and investments needed for scaling up. An astounding 73% cannot secure sufficient economic resources. Women also shoulder most caregiving duties, creating what economists call time poverty, a significant limitation on their capacity for business expansion. When you're juggling childcare, elder care, household management, and community responsibilities, the 80-hour entrepreneurial work weeks celebrated in startup culture become virtually impossible. Time becomes a luxury that many simply cannot afford. These barriers aren't just inconveniences or hurdles to overcome through hustle harder mantras. They're structural inequities that fundamentally alter the playing field. They transform entrepreneurship from a pathway to wealth creation into too often another form of precarious labor. Exhausting work that maintains survival without building prosperity. But Takeda's research doesn't just identify problems, it points towards solutions. And this leads to her third key insight. Collective progress creates ripple effects that benefit entire communities. When we invest in supporting Black female founders through mentorship, funding opportunities, and equitable policies, we foster broader economic empowerment. This isn't charity or special treatment, it's smart economics and basic justice. It's recognizing that talent is equally distributed, but opportunity is not. Community based initiatives have emerged offering targeted grants and mentorship programs specifically designed for minority women led startups. Organizations like Digital Undivided's big incubator programs sponsor pitch competitions and provide crucial early support. These efforts have improved networking opportunities and helped more than double the rate at which new companies led by minority women launch annually. In Latin America, policies promoting gender targeted financing and digitalization strategies have been piloted across several countries. These initiatives have increased bank account ownership among female founders, though significant gaps compared to men persist. Some local governments have created grant programs specifically earmarked for Afro descendant businesswomen. These interventions work. Women of color now own over 6 million businesses nationwide, a growth rate exceeding all other demographics, and account for nearly 9 out of 10 new female led firms each day. This research has catalyzed regional conversations about building back better post pandemic, with gender equity central to unlocking untapped economic potential among marginalized communities. But here's where we need to be honest with ourselves. These interventions, while valuable, remain insufficient. They're treating symptoms rather than addressing root causes. They're making an unfair system slightly less unfair rather than transforming it entirely. True progress requires us to reimagine our entire approach to entrepreneurship, capital allocation, and success measurement. It demands that we confront uncomfortable questions about who our economic systems were designed to benefit and who they were designed to exclude. As Tequita Morgan emphasized in our conversation, this isn't just about individual success stories, it's about collective liberation. It's about creating economic systems that work for everyone, not just those with historical advantages and privileged access. This brings me to a profound truth that emerged from my interview with Taquita. In our current economic landscape, Black women entrepreneurs aren't just building businesses, they're engaged in an act of resistance. They're creating alternatives to systems that weren't designed with them in mind. They're carving out spaces of possibility and autonomy in environments that often deny both. Their entrepreneurship isn't just about profit, though profit matters enormously. It's about self determination, it's about community wealth building, it's about creating legacies that transcend individual achievement. As Audre Lorde famously said, caring for myself is not self indulgence, it is self preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. For Black women entrepreneurs, creating sustainable, profitable businesses isn't just good economics, it's revolutionary politics. It's claiming space in systems designed for their exclusion. So, where do we go from here? How do we move beyond the illusion of progress to create actual sustainable change? First, we need better metrics. Growth in the number of businesses started is meaningless if those businesses aren't generating wealth for their founders. We need to track profitability, longevity, and wealth creation, not just business formation. Second, we need targeted interventions that address the specific barriers Black women entrepreneurs face. This means increasing access to capital through dedicated funding streams. It means creating mentorship and networking opportunities that connect founders to resources and knowledge. It means implementing policies that address time poverty and care responsibilities. Third, we need to transform our cultural narratives around entrepreneurship. The hustle harder mentality often glorifies struggle while ignoring structural barriers. As Takita emphasized during our interview, Black women don't need more grit or determination, and they need equitable access to resources and opportunities. I stand before you today not just as a speaker, but as someone fundamentally changed by Takita Morgan's insights. Her work has forced me to question how I measure progress, how I define success, and how I understand the systems we operate within. And now I ask you, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue to celebrate surface level growth while ignoring deeper inequities? Or will you commit to creating the conditions where all entrepreneurs can thrive, not just survive? The revolution we need isn't just in how many businesses Black women start, it's in how many flourish. It's not just about opening doors, but ensuring those doors lead to prosperity, not precarity. Today, I challenge each of you to move beyond performative allyship to substantive action. Invest in Black women led ventures, open your networks, share your knowledge, use your platforms to amplify voices that need to be heard. Because when Black women entrepreneurs truly succeed, we all benefit from their innovation, leadership, and vision. And when our economic systems work for those who have been most marginalized, they finally work for everyone. The illusion of progress comforts those who benefit from the status quo. But true transformation awaits those brave enough to see beyond the headlines, confront uncomfortable truths, and commit to creating a world where entrepreneurship fulfills its promise as a pathway to prosperity for everyone. Thank you